Welcome back to Franchise Hockey Manager 10 with the Pittsburgh Penguins. It's opening night of the 2029-2030 season, our seventh season in charge of the Pittsburgh Penguins. And like every other year, this is Christmas. This is where you get to see every single player that ends up going on waivers, not quite good enough to make the cut. Not that we're going to end up partaking in it, but it's still pretty interesting to see all these players that, even Afanazayev could probably play for any NHL team if he really wanted to. There's so many players that are available. Even Shvechkov. I'm going to just pick all the terrible names to really say. But there's still some gems. Like if you actually have time, there are pretty decent amounts that you can probably go for. But you have to be timing it very well. Because we always do it super late and it doesn't allow us to end up claiming any of these players. But you can kind of see all the teams that end up dropping these players and what ends up happening with it. But the more important part out of all of this, though, is more so figuring out, oh, he doesn't clear waivers. So that was one of the guys that ended up getting sniped as well. But we're more interested in the season preview to see if they're really going to put respect on our name this season. After winning last season, I imagine we should be favorites. But this is the moment of truth, and we will see for sure. And yes, we are. We appear to be cup favorites, just mainly because Kent Johnson. So, like I said, franchise player. He's already showing it. 91 points in 82 games last season, and then us being the general manager, they obviously like it as well. Edmonton Oilers and Montreal are the top three. So, 7 years in the future, and with Cole Caulfield at the helm, Montreal is doing pretty well as well, so they didn't even need us. Granted, they haven't won anything yet, so I guess they might have to. Scoring race is going to be between the top three teams, or top three players of the league, and defenseman is obviously Dahlin, Makar, and Fox. Those are the top three of every single year. And then finally, Ottinger and Devon Levi are going to duke it out with Vasilevsky, who's now 35, so I doubt that he ends up winning the Vezina. But it's going to be between probably Jake Ottinger, who we know very well, and Devon Levi. Ottinger actually staying with his team, though. In the other version, he ended up being a free agent, and we ended up scooping him up until we unfortunately rested him too much, so he couldn't get our franchise record. But that's all in the past, or in a different realm. But we're going to look at our team here. We're going to show you how we got them after. And we're probably going to have to rotate this as well. But as of right, yeah, we'll just do it now, actually. Because I think we did it when everyone was resting. So lines is Jacobson as the fourth line. That seems right. Forsman is getting his rookie debut. Fyodorov is going to start as the back line there as well. Guentzel, Jagger, and Lam are going to be our third line. Pearden, McTavish, and Frederick as our second. And Johnson, Matthews, and Hemming all going to be our top line there. Korchinski and Bouchard are going to have it, and then Hudson, McAvoy, and then Holland and Butskaya. So if you're looking at our salary, we are currently just below the cap. So around 81 million, and it's around 83 and a half. I always forget the actual number. But in terms of cap obligations, Guentzel's the only one that's not signed for next year, and same thing with McAvoy. And just looking in terms of, let's look at it as again, and we'll look at how much we actually have next season. It says we have around 10 million. So in theory, we could probably extend some of these players. We could extend McAvoy if we really want. I'm going to wait until half the season and see if he really warrants it or not. But looking at our transactions, we're going to go with signed first. So we're going to go with transaction log. We're going to do our signings. So it's going to show last year. No, okay, so we're going to show this year. Brolin, we end up signing as a free agent. He looks pretty good. Could end up playing a role with us, but he is only 20 years old, so still has a future for that. Morelli, I really liked him for his defensive. So if he can develop even to a 3-star player, we might end up using him a little bit more. But he's just going to stay in our AHL team until he kind of develops. We might end up using him if we need it. Maya, we end up signing as well. But we were considering getting rid of him as well. So I think we only signed him for 2 years. We're looking at getting rid of our other goalie as well because I don't think he wants to stay with us. Kovic looks pretty decent. I mean, his stats for balance, stamina, and bravery are pretty high. Even his defensive read, so he's a two-way forward. I do like having that option, but everything else is kind of basic. And then Pobazol looks pretty decent in terms of stamina, agility, and defensive read as well, and puck handling's pretty good. But none of these players are going to really play for us. They're just more so to develop and then see if we can actually sell them. And if anyone gets injured, we can always swap them for it. So we'll end up doing our trades here. We didn't do any waiver picks, so we won't even really get into that. We end up trading away Jordan Spence for a third-round pick, Berkeley Catton for a first. I believe that's next year's, though. So to Boston Bruins. We then ended up trading Utenkov and Wilson. Utenkov didn't look like he was going to really pan out. He wasn't going to play for us anyways. And then Wilson, I mean, we kind of need the cap space a little bit. He isn't making that much, but he's not going to stay with us anyways. So a fifth and a second for those guys. We then ended up getting Reinbacher and the rights to Powell. Powell looks amazing. So this guy can easily play for us next year if we really want to. Or we can just kind of end it anyways. But just the potential of him having the chance of being on our team, we end up getting rid of Tase, Trenko, Raymond Vara, fourth and a third. So not really giving up much for a potential starter in the next couple seasons. We then end up getting rid of Aremba and Pizzetto and 2/5 for the rights to Suki, who was the guy that we ended up looking at before. Stay-at-home defender. He could play for us in the future as well, plays left and right D, and then Bazaka, who can play this season. We did it mostly for his defensive rating anyways. Does say he can play quarterback, but I think he can play anything. But just off first glance, he looks pretty good, and it looks like he can develop as well. So just the fact that he's already on our roster means that it was a good decision. And then we ended up trading away Malik, who was a guy that wasn't going to probably play for us. We ended up getting 2 seconds for him to Buffalo, which we can always flip in the future anyways. So we're going to end up looking at how well we're going to do for the first 10 games like we normally do, and then see how it's going to look and how much we're going to really struggle, at least early on. It always takes us to the trade deadline to start performing anyways. Usually around a 500 team, maybe top 3 team as well. But at least it's going to give you an indication as to where we are. And I mean, half our division took losses in their first game. First game's against Toronto. Jesus, there's still more. Connor Bedard gets extended. Oh, he extends his point streak. I thought he got extended. So we're going to do AI setup organization again. So they end up making a change. So this is exactly what they're doing. Reinbacher is going to start instead. So Reinbacher, everything else looks the exact same, but Reinbacher. So we did keep Frederick, like what I said we were probably going to do. Anyways, so first game against Toronto, and it's a loss, 2-1 loss in regulation. Knees, Wozniak, and Holland are the only ones that score. Holland surprisingly scoring. That is kind of shocking to us. But first game, so everyone in our division lost their first game except for 2 teams who are 3-0 and 2-0. So that's kind of depressing. Levi at least putting up a decent amount of save percentage though. But the only one that did better was Toronto's. Go figure. And I know what's going to happen. We're going to have a bunch of back-to-back games. We are at least winning the popularity contest for sure. This is a complete list of the draft. There's only around top 4. So we have, like I said, I think we have only one. Yeah, we have Boston Bruins. So we're really banking on Boston Bruins to suck. They're 1-0-1. So it doesn't look like they're really going to suck unless their first win was against a nobody team. But yeah, this is the only time that you're going to probably see us in 7th place though. Winnipeg's our next one. We do have to face a top team in their division, or in the Central at least. And then we end up having to face, oh my god, the stupid clicks. Stupid clicks. We tried to break it up before and it didn't let us. Okay, at least we end up doing that. I hate the clicks. The clicks bother me so much. Let's see if we can turn this around. We win 5-1. That's what we like to see. Guentzel, Jacobson, McAvoy, Hemming, and McTavish all getting goals there. I did like bringing a Ryan backer. That was what, just more so one of the happy buys that I ended up getting. He doesn't really command that much. I think they're eating some of his salary, just like the Matthews deal, where they're eating half his salary for the rest of his contract. So anyone that's wondering if you end up trading players with 50% or whatever is for the length of their contracts, not just for that year. I'm not sure if everyone knows that or not, but it's just more of a hindsight that's what it ends up showing. So Toronto's on the hook for like 7 years for Matthews, so we only have to pay $5 million for him, which means that's just a very interesting trick. There's still more waivers. That's insane. So we find our first back-to-back game, and I don't really like this at all. And it's going to keep doing that until the cap. Rivalry game, we end up winning 4-3. Ken Johnson, Hudson, Forsman getting his first goal, and then Jagger as well. But we almost let up. Top 3 right now, and Toronto is towards the bottom, so is Boston. So we did make a right decision trading. At least that's what it looks like so far. But 2 overtime losses could easily be 2 wins. So maybe we shouldn't be celebrating too quickly. We'll do AI setup organization as well. We just have to switch the goalies because that's what always happens. It looks like we're going to be starting some players that are tired. We still win 3-2 though. Matthews scores against his former team, Bouchard and Jagger getting the goals. Nylander and Cohen scoring for them though at the end. So we end up letting up again in the third period. We now face against Dallas. So Dallas is 0-4. And their goalie was projected to be top of the league. So now they're 1-4. I think it's kind of the same growing pains that we end up having to deal with as soon as he hit 30 as well. Hurricanes are actually 5-0. That is insane. And Red Wings are currently in first place. Shocking. I would have thought that Sabres would have been up there. I'm gotta take some water here. And we face off against Dallas, we'll end up doing the AI again. And let's see if we can manage to get another win here. And we do, 7-2, a pretty convincing one. Pretty convincing win there. Puritan, Jagger, Korchinski, Guentzel, Hemming, Bouchard, and Matthews all getting goals there. But the interesting part is going to see all the assists and stuff like that we don't necessarily pay attention to off the surface. That is really going to be the surprising part. Kosa and Levi are also top 8 in terms of goals against average. So at least we're doing very good defensively, which I do like as well. Like 2s, 3s, that's okay. It's the 7-2s that we end up losing that tend to infuriate me. And now here's our secret rivalry game against Montreal. And 7-1, so we end up winning 7-1. Jagger, Hudson, I think Hudson played for them as well. Hudson, Puritan, Jagger, Frederick, Matthews, and Bouchard all getting goals there. Cole Caulfield, did he end up getting anything? No, he didn't. It was just Massey. Cole Caulfield got the assist though. But they're still top 2 though. I will say that we do have very similar records at the moment. And we face Carolina. This will be an ultimate test. This will dictate whether or not we're going to probably be top of our division or we're going to kind of sit in second or third of it. Jason Robertson on the trade block. They're not going to do anything for it. I will give a first rounder for him. Let's see. We'll do it right now. Take half his salary. And I will give you a first round pick. And a second round pick. And let's go with a player as well that makes a little bit... What? Yeah, he's more of an offensive sniper, so... Let's give us something that's kind of close to that. Not Jacobson, obviously. Someone at the top. Let's just add that. Yeah, they're not gonna. They won't do it. We'll wait them out. We'll wait them out. They end up offering him again. We'll definitely try and do something for it. We'll see how many picks it takes. 6-3. So, I mean, it looks like we're at the top of our division. Forsman getting his second, Lam getting his first, and Pearden getting his third of the season. Before Guentzel, Jacobson, and Johnson only has 2. That is kind of upsetting. 2 in 7 games. I mean, he should be doing a little bit more than that. But he is more of an assist guy, I find. So 7 games in, we are still in first. Red Wings are currently in first in the whole league, though. Same thing with Ducks. Ducks look like they finally turned around, which is weird since I don't think that they have. I don't think they have their star player. So we face Tampa here. We end up winning 6-1. Matthews gets 2 goals there. Jacobson, Johnson, and then Forsman before Johnson ends up getting his 4th. So 4-8 is not that bad. And 7-1-0 is definitely amazing, considering we did lose against Leafs opening night, and then we completely turned around after going on a 7-game winning streak. Not too bad. Even if we keep winning though, we'll keep playing it until all of it's over. That is for sure. Nashville getting a deal. Baudin. That guy sounds so familiar. They gave away Baudin. Oh, they got Baudin for Askarov. There's no way. Jesus. Askarov has so much potential, though. St. Louis's win now, and Nashville's rebuild. They've had the top pick for the past 2 years. They are essentially what Edmonton Oilers are, or were back in the day, before they got McDavid. And it ends here. The streak ends here. We lose in overtime, though, so we still get a point. Matthews getting both goals, but ultimately not being able to win that. We're going to swap our goalie for the next game, though. But still, 9-7-1-1 is pretty good. Matthews inching his way on the top of the scoring. Levi still maintaining his 2-goal against average. We'll end up swapping Costa for him. Against Columbus. Let's see if we can get the win here. We do 4-1. I mean, I was on the fence of getting rid of Costa too at the beginning of the season, but getting the wins when we need to is huge. So Ritchie gets 2, and then Johnson and Holland getting his second there. We do face off against St. Louis in like 3 days. That's why I don't understand these back-to-backs, considering there's tomorrow, the 22nd and 23rd. Realistically, we shouldn't have to do it. But we do have to face off against Blues 5-4-2. They're a 500 team, and they were in 2nd place. That is gross. At least, like, look at ours, 8-1-1. My God, our division's ridiculously difficult. We'll go back to it. Yeah, 8-1-1, 7-2-1, 7-2-1, 7-4-1. I mean, that one's not as good. They played more games. And then our 5th place team is 6-6-0, whereas they would be in 3rd place right now. Well, I guess they'd be in 5th there. And 6-6-0 is in 3rd place. Jeez, that division sucks. Ultimate test. Let's see if it's Askarov and net. It isn't. It's Vladar. So Askarov's their backup. 9-3 though. Frederick, Johnson, Hudson, and Pearden getting goals all in the 1st, before Jacobson and Johnson getting in the 2nd, and then Johnson, Jagger, and Pearden getting into the 3rd. Jesus, they just really rotate a lot. There's no way. That is... Guentzel got criticized. Holy... That is ridiculous. We won 9-3, and the media's not happy with it. Jeez, that just shows that the media are just a bunch of vultures. 11 games, 9-1-1. Shoddy call 9-1-1. It does look like our team is just absolutely cruising. 2-1. I mean, a little bit low scoring. Kent Johnson and Jagger getting both goals. Every goal getting scored in the second. That is kind of weird. Kent Johnson now top 8 in terms of goals. So between him and Matthews, they might end up having to battle it out. Costa now top 3. Gets bumped out though. That's kind of weird. I guess it's based on how many games you end up actually playing. Now we face off against New York, who ruined our streak the last time. They don't do it this time. 5-0. Kaya ends up getting his first. Matthews gets 2. McTavish, and then Johnson gets the last one. So 11-1-1. Jesus, this, I don't want to say record, but it's looking like it could be a record year. If we end up beating Tampa Bay's record, that would be insane. But so far, it looks like it is very much so possible. But we'll go up to 15 here. Actually, we'll go till either 15 or till we lose. McTavish getting 2 there, Pearden, Reinbacher getting 1, and then Johnson and Frederick getting them before Bouchard scores in overtime. Forsman's actually at 6 assists too, though. So now we're going to have to navigate between San Jose, who's actually good, and Anaheim, who's at the top. So do we put Kosa in first? We're gonna show these games regardless. But we're gonna put Kosa in first game. Just watch. We're gonna lose both. 4-2. So we get the first one out of the way. McTavish, Pearden, Forsman, and Forsman again. Jeez. We have Anaheim on the back-to-back game, who are 13-4-0. So they haven't lost in overtime. So it is pretty interesting to see that. That's kind of us too, and Detroit was like that as well. LA's open hostility. Development report. This guy looks pretty interesting. I'm really hoping he develops into something because I would love to play with him. And Levi getting it for us as well. Swanson, I remember that name as well. I think he's like 2nd or 3rd overall pick. Let's see if we can manage to get this one here. And we do. We win 5-4. So our strategy did work. Rotating our goalies seemed like the best bet. I'm glad that we ended up winning this one in Anaheim. Johnson, Guentzel, Lam, and McTavish before McTavish ends up scoring the deadly one at the end. We end up winning we lose the 3rd period, but we end up winning everything else. So let's take a look actually at the league right now. We're on another 7-game winning streak, so we're going to play till it's over. If we end up losing against Vegas, so be it. I mean, they are at the bottom. We should be able to beat them. But it's, oh my god, between Levi and Clara, it's going to be a battle this season for sure. I don't see, well, Dallas seems to be inching their way out of the basement, but not by much. Hemming was actually suspended. I didn't even realize that. That is kind of funny, actually. And yeah, I'm not really seeing... Ottinger's not looking like he's showing up. It looks like he's aging at 30 is a rough time for him. But I think we're going to skip the trade deadline. I think we're going to end up just doing the postseason after this one, possibly. Let's go back to set up organization. But it does look like our team is rightfully so going to be one of the contenders. We end up winning, so it's 8 straight now. Hemming, Lam, Forsman. I do like Frollo, and then Reinbacher end up getting the eventual one there. 15-1-1. Oh my god. Like 31 points in 17 games. That is unheard of. I don't know if that's ever happened in terms of a start though. And as you can see, I'm clearly not editing anything. This is all live right now that you guys are seeing and witnessing how well we did. Blomqvist is actually the top 3. That is crazy. So 2 of the players used to play for Penguins. That's crazy. Ivan Kovic. I don't know if Ivan Kovic was on our team before as well. If that's not this reality or another one. Suspension for Max Swanson. Wow, he doesn't develop into anything, but oh, they got him in 3rd round. That's pretty good. So I take a look at our. I think we're still at the same. We're at 8 wins now. Let's see if we can manage to continue it. And no, we don't. New Jersey takes us out. But we will look at the stats. Kent Johnson gets his 13th. Jacobson with his 5th. McTavish with his 8th. And it does find us here still probably at the top. So top of the league, 15-2-1. We played 2 less games at Anaheim. But it looks like we're already coasting to making the playoffs. So that's why we probably won't show the trade deadline. We're just going to end up jumping into the postseason after this because I'm fairly confident we're going to end up making it. In 18 games, you have Kent Johnson with 24 points, 13 goals, and 11 assists. Matthews in 2nd with 24 again, but 9 goals and 15 assists. McTavish with 8 and 7, and then 15 points there. So a huge drop off between the top 3. Forsman on the 4th line has 14 points in 17 games. That is pretty good as well. Bouchard with 13, Lam with 13, Pearden with 12. He's still a 4-star, so at 23 he's still a 4-star. He could still develop. Jagger 24, 3.5. Jacobson still at 4.5 potential. Gets 12. Hemming with 11. Holland, Korchinski with 11 as well, and then Frederick with 10. And then we're going to look at who has the worst grade. Worst grade is Brolin, but he's not really featuring that much. He's played 6 games for us. And we'll take a look at, oh no, I'm doing the wrong one. Goalie stats, there we go. Got to click it. So Kosa hasn't lost yet, but Levi is 12-2-1 with a much better save percentage than last year. Last year he had 317 goals against. Now he has 2.8. That is a huge difference. But the save percentage is pretty much the same though. He did have, oh no, I'm looking at it wrong. What the hell? No, 2.54, sorry. And 9.25 save percentage. 12-2-1. So much better than what he did the first season with us. He's definitely getting his footing. 15 games and 12 wins. That is insane. Save percentage is massive for both of them. So just a 1-2 hit there. And we still have Kosa for 2 years. So this is going to be crazy. We're going to end the episode here. Hopefully you guys like what you see. Leave a like and subscribe if you want to see more. And thank you for watching. See you next time.